or maybe an Asensio, but definitely someone with pace. So I'm going to go with Vinny.
And it looks like there's a substitution being made for Español as well. We'll confirm that in just a second here. Well, Phil Shane and Ray Hudson will confirm that as Pedrosa has come on. And let's send it out to the RCDE Stadium for the second half of Español Real Madrid with Phil Shane and Ray Hudson.
Second half underway at the RCDE, and Adrià Pedrosa, the only change at the break. Maybe a little bit more of an attacking option than Didac Villat, but he will slot in at that left back. 1 goal to his name as he steps in for his 18th appearance. They've swung around, Lopez and company now defending the goal towards the right. You see the lineups down at the bottom. Meanwhile, it is Real Madrid, the Merengues in mint, attacking from left to right, and things looking rather minty considering the way they were when the world started up again, at least the footballing world. Ball launched high by Cabrera, flicked back by Ramos and right to Courtois. Yeah, he's feeling good. Phil Shane and Ray Hudson with you. First half, Ray, Español did well. They represented themselves. They gave themselves some opportunities. And then the difference maker in Karim Benzema.
What a time to score that go-ahead goal, and what a peach it was as well. Yeah, a number of concerns for Real Madrid, though. You know, you got to remember, Phil, as well, it was a lethargic performance in the opening against Español, but they have had big players playing basically 90 minutes, and yet the combination of those two types of players, Benzema and Casemiro, are the ones who produced the goal. Pretty weird stuff these days. So
that seems to be the new normal.
It truly is. And Español have done a good job, and not just in their defensive attitude, but the way they've come out of the long grass and hunted down. You need to have some different performances from Eden Hazard and Isco, first and foremost. Having said that, Valverde Cross has not given any sort of width or space towards Isco to operate in. The spacing from this lineup is always so pivotal when you've got the quality of the players. So maybe we'll see that adjustment in this second half, as Marcelo, as he's prone to do, continually pushing out wide as that outlet. But all in all, it's just been a little bit of lackadaisical stuff, and certain players looking a bit off colour for Real Madrid by their highest standards, of course. Karim's magic rose to the top, of course. The full credit, as Kyle said, Wu Li has been ultra impressive. The Chinese international, and his stinging counter-attacks and skill as well, not just pace.
Slotted through by the goal scorer Casemiro. Still just 1 goal difference between the two. Things can change quickly. They get the bounce off the pass from Abarba into the middle. Wu with the touch, guiding it to the far post, but Courtois cuts it out.
Yeah, they're going down Marcelo's side here, and it's a massive overload on that side by the Parakeets. The 3-on-1 against Marcelo, and no help in front of him, but they exploit that area beautifully. And again, the Chinese international gets a good stab at it, but it's easy pickings for 6'6" Thibault.
Looking across Isco.
You know, since the restart of this season as well, Phil, stating the obvious, but Vinicius Junior has looked a different type of player in his performances for Real Madrid, so he'll be itching to get in.
But they also have Rodrigo and Brahim Diaz, as well as Marco Asensio now in the picture.
Asensio, absolutely. That's what I said. I mean, he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He scored a good start here today. His first start since the reset as well, it needs to be stated. But we'll see what he brings in this second half.
Back
He
for
was given
Kroos.
the middling performance, to say it nicely. He scored.
Tracking this one down in the corner. Leaves it for Marcelo. Good angle here to serve. Whips it across, back post, bends, sneaks it inside, but Lopez blocks the near post.
Fabulous ball here from Isco. He and Marcelo linking up nicely. Wonderful ball. He's just level. Keeps himself on the shoulder. He's got nothing to pull it back to, so he goes for the audacious in that non-existent space between Diego Lopez and his upright. Great ball from Isco. He needed that. Going to be a school of thought as well, Phil, that Vinicius Junior and Eden Hazard are the two players that are compatible with the Real Madrid side. It seems obvious with the talent, but how does that affect it? Well, he went away from that here today and give that formation a different look. He's unlucky not to get enough, a little bit more pop on that ball. Nicely angled at target, but it takes something more to beat Courtois. You remember, Eden comes inside so much as well, so a lot of fluidity on Zidane's lineups, but being this crazy season takes a little bit more getting accustomed to. Good football again here.
Isco again, drives it, sliding in. Carvajal caressing it. Benzema thought it was going to go long. Espinosa able to clear. Cabrera up the line.
Oh, the way he's playing, that's a phenomenal effort. And seeing a ball dropping like that with such pace into that area ahead of Benzema and instantly adjusts all of his gyroscopes. Oh. Lovely ball in from Toni Kroos, asking Hazard a serious question. Nice turn as well. He might have got this at the other side, but Espinosa says you shall not pass.
Looks like Javi Lopez heading down to stretch, but would imagine they'd look more towards Calero or Caleri. Melendo, meanwhile, the mighty Might, who has scored his share of big goals off the bench. Maybe this could be the one.
Interesting position. This it's a difficult one for the lads here to pick out which arrow they're going to take out of their quill, because the three of them are capable of stinging his targets, but that space for the captain to come barreling on, maybe, and Benzema.
Casemiro's there. They will set it for him. Rattles off the base of the wall, and Carvajal there to track it down.
Better start from Real Madrid in this second half. As I said, I think the adjustments to that spacing that I was talking about,
Driven high,
is, you know, pivotal for a team shaped like this. He hasn't got too many options to fight this.
I saw Rodrigo and Vinicius both loosening up. So Brahim Diaz make a cameo last time out. And of course, Marco Asensio, a legendary return, or should I say debut, considering he'd missed the entire campaign. Challenging Mbarba. Varane uses his height.
That look doesn't suit him.
Got to be a smile in there somewhere.
He was right. Bit of a nasty clip.
Rolled back. Diego Lopez. Just 2 games with the first team. His first stint with Real Madrid when he was a teammate with Sergio Ramos and Zinedine Zidane. Can't blame him for the Casemiro goal. It was a thing of beauty.
Well, as we're handing out the accolades to Real Madrid's increased performance in this second half, you have to tip your hat to this team that is, well, they've got nowhere to go other than the second division on these standings, and they've been making a real good alley fight of this. As you say, that one goal, it's rather delicate. Real Madrid still looking for the insurance goal. Better performance from the Royal Greens. Good run.
A slide tackle, and it rattles off Cabrera. Marc Roca may be the most surprised. RDT winning the foul against Varane. And it looks like it could be Malero. But who for?
Certainly not a walk in the park for any of these Real Madrid, as they are getting frustrated. They are being challenged and pressed onto legally and illegally as the impressive Uli exits.
Oscar Melendo checking in. His 19th appearance of the season.
Another youth product.
Still searching for his first goal of the year, but
ball.
He was the one that scored a late winner to knock Barcelona off in the first leg of their Copa quarters a few years back. Wide for Benzema, tracking Espinosa with him. Flips it around for Hazard. A Rebona that's blocked. Would have been pretty. It'll be a corner. Played short. Hazard chips for Marcelo, pops up for the Brazilian, tries to reach Benzema but cleared, and all the way back to Diego Lopez. Taking a look at where things stand, if this score holds, would be a 2-point gap, and again with that magic point, a 3-point lead over Barcelona. Atletico Madrid seems to be cementing a Champions League berth. The battle for fourth still on. Down at the bottom, really much 3 teams in for Varane to clear. Still in danger. Courtois uses his height.
Concentration from Varane there, picking up the run of Raúl de Thomas. So Ramos and Varane certainly not hitting the snooze button, as it's been predominantly Real Madrid's game in the second half. Good half-time speech, boss.
Darder flying into the challenge. Isco with the takedown. Nice control. But Pedrosa sees it blocked. Isco back to defend. Mentioned it is a warm night in Barcelona. Maybe explaining the legs starting to get a bit heavier with a half hour to go.
Yeah. No let up in that 32-year-old wearing the number 9 for Real Madrid.
Down goes Isco again. No sympathy from the referee.
Oh.
Now Marcelo starting to break the other way. Benzema has an overlap, plays it square, close to his left. Now Marcelo, and they will retreat. Isco. Carvajal. And we could bleed this one out, but there's always the danger, as Barcelona found out yesterday, for a last gasp bit of heroics from the underdogs.
Bit of magic from Iago Aspas.
Trying to get the touch off Carvajal, and it will be Vinicius. So Zidane wanting a little magic of his own.
This is the exact same lineup, Phil, that we started this game with the day from that game against Paris Saint-Germain back in, was it November, December? And how impressive that game was for Real Madrid. It's not just picking it out of his hat, Zidane. He knows this team, it can be trusted. It's been a tough opponent here today, but starting to get it rolling and more fire coming this way in the shape of Vinny.
And it looks like both of the young Brazilians with magic in their boots, ready to add some sparkle to this match. Eden Hazard will leave. A few opportunities, but not the best we have seen from Hazard. And it is Isco as expected. So the two players flanking Benzema will exit, and a new entourage with a Brazilian flavor.
Well, again, given the circumstances overall, with the pandemic coming in and shortening practice sessions and concentrating on an uptick in serious games for this team that's currently sitting in top spot as the standings go, it's just a natural and proper substitution for two players that are a little disappointing.
Grab by Varane. Advantage was to be played. And the Frenchman may be a bit fortunate not to be getting a card for that cynical foul.
He lives in hope.
Nice steal up the middle. Victor Gomez keeps it alive. A tackle here, and Vinicius bringing Melendo down.
Well, this one gets away from Valverde initially, and then Vinny tries to put his fire out, and certainly a winger's tackle. These are the ones they live by, Phil. And we've saw Raul de Thomas unleash hell in the past from this distance. It'll take something more than hell to beat him. Well, he's got the look of Cristiano. Has he got the gold in his boots?
Whipped in, pushed away, Courtois. Nice by RDT. But Courtois with the tender touch.
Rudimentary goalkeeping, really. It's sees it coming all day. No problem at all. Cleanly dealt with, though.
Cabrera with the long throw into the middle. The header towards goal, but it looks as though Thomas had a clash of heads in the process.
Beautiful jump. Yeah, wonderfully timed. And here's his stinger. It hops towards Courtois, and easy peasy lemon squeezy. No danger.
Ramos with Carvajal. Well, Carvajal wanted the scenic route. Ramos went the express. Back up the other flank they go. Close up the line. Vinicius back to his right. Close squares. Benzema tries to pivot and regathered for Valverde. Talked about the turnaround from this Real Madrid, from the Galacticos of Zidane's era to the wise investments of today. Whipped in for Vinicius. He'll let it run. Maybe none better to talk about than Valverde. Carvajal poked away and then getting tangled with Pedrosa. He's down. Referee pointing that Real still has possession. They'll put it into touch and let their right back get some treatment. And the card coming out on the challenge to Pedraza. But right, talking about Valverde, they bought him from Peñarol. Pretty good known pipeline of talent. What was it, about $5 million? And when Manchester United came knocking not that long ago, they gave him a new contract with a buyout clause. And depending upon the reports, somewhere between $500 million and $900 million. That's a pretty good return on investment if they can find someone to chip in. But they are wise investors at the moment.
Nasty cleats down the Achilles there, and that is as nasty as a rat bite.
Another change coming in for Español, and it will be Mbarba exiting and Caleri checking in.
Argentina man, so he'll bring a lot of vim and vigor. Ex-Boca Junior man here on loan, Phil. Very, very decent player.
Although did very well at Las Palmas, very well at Alaves, still hasn't quite found his form with Español. Rufete still trying to figure out this managerial thing. Meanwhile, another substitution checking in, and it looks like it'll be Melamed, and it will be Nico Melamed, the 19-year-old.
Well, they're proud of their youth products, Phil, and this game started with a number of them, and here's another one.
Made his debut last year and now makes his season debut this season. First player born in the 21st century to feature with Español. Valverde, Benzema, the goal scorer Casemiro. Especially the way the second half started. A little surprised they haven't added to Casemiro's goal. Rodrigo wanted it back. Valverde swings far side. Melamed seemed to be ready. Gets a little help from Melendo. Gets away from Vinicius. Kroos throws a barrier in front. No foul, says the ref. In the end, what was Kroos supposed to do? 20 minutes remain.
It's like walking on a highway here for Real Madrid. They're so confident in control of the situation, but one little slip and
even the Melendez know how dangerous it can be up there.
Yeah, but got to start having a gamble or two as well by holding off on this defensive situation that they've done so admirably. It was a wonder goal to set up Real Madrid from that Marcelo diamond of a pass that was won by the captain and set the table for Benz to pull that beautiful peacock out of his magic hat for Casemiro. But haven't been absolutely pummeling the bottom team in La Liga, have they? And that's okay. One step at a time to get to the other end. That's all they want. It won't be stale points. Got the bit right between their teeth and the squad in depth to keep everybody happy. This guy's been absolutely wonderful.
Vinicius far side, back to Marcelo. Tucked in for Casemiro. It rolls Real's way. Now Rodrigo. Carvajal okay. Well, the pass maybe not, but again magnetized to Valverde's boot. And towards the area, Benzema somehow pulls it down. Marcelo inside, cut out by Espinosa. Nice by Caleri. Ball back, Melamed. Wide for Gomez.
Mobility, always looking for a positive pass, this kid, little Nico. No nerves about him. Spanish under-19 international, this man with the ball. Beautiful skill.
Looking. Lays it. Sneaks it into the middle. Chance for Lopez. Whips it in hard, but Courtois stands strong.
Magic pass from young Nico, and almost a back pass for Courtois to deal with.
7 goals this season for Español B, so a bit of a reward for the 19-year-old. See if he can pay off that faith. Rosa better be careful. Got one yellow just moments ago. David Bettoni with his longtime friend Zinedine Zidane.
Again, given all the mental stress these players are under, and it is with all these games coming so fast and furious, despite the fact that they've been impressively winning. Make no mistake, the mental part of the game takes its toll, and I think that's part of the reason you've seen Real Madrid a little bit haphazard with their passes by their standards in this match.
Nice by Caleri. Melendo now with a little space, tried to thread it through the legs of Ramos. It didn't work out.
Good pressure from Marcelo again, and gets the captain's gratitude. And not many people thinking about this being an absolute banana skin, Phil, but I think there was as many of the Madridistas looking as if to say, we cannot take this team for serious. I mean, for granted, they're battling for their lives, looking at the drop, and certainly made this a pretty intriguing game. 75 minutes in, and Real Madrid not out of the woods yet. It's not that they've played poorly, just haven't been as really sharp and as incisive as what they have been. What a ball that is from Varane.
And Marcelo almost gets it.
Fabulous pass. Yay.
And now the cooling break. As you see that center from Benzema really doesn't show what he's able to do. Maybe he only flits out to the flanks. But it does keep the defense honest.
Yeah. You know what you can do with your heat maps and your statistics? He's been absolutely superb and continually holding it together, just like his captain. It's been a tactical game, which I think a lot of people didn't truly expect. I think the predictions were that it would be a very comfortable game. Well, in this day and age, Phil, with all of the topsy-turvy land we're all living in, you cannot take anything for granted.
Right. Damir Tutic writing in through WhatsApp, and a very good question, because it does seem as though, well, let's just say the train's at the station if it hasn't started heading the other way. Do you think Real will dominate La Liga in the next decade like Barca did the past one?
Well, they've bought very, very shrewdly, and they've kept a lot of their powder dry in terms of the finances. Has been going into the stadium as much as anything, but he knows the money's there for him, and probably a new pair of pants if needed. And the quality they've got right the way through, from the young Brazilian burgeoning talent to an established player like Hazard, and certainly Gareth on his best of days. But there's going to be question marks. How are you going to replace this captain? Ramos, that is an enormous pair of boots to fill on a number of levels as well. But the question, can they dominate for the amount of time that certainly Barcelona razzled and dazzled with their type of football that is starting to fade away now in certain regards, because they haven't taken those precautions of building up with younger talent and giving youth its chance. So the question is a very, very teasing one, and it would be an absolutely imperious set of performances over the years for Real Madrid to match Barcelona's dominance over those years that you're talking about, Phil. But it's Real Madrid, man, and replacing this guy as well is going to be an enormous challenge. But it, again, I repeat myself, it is Real Madrid. They've got the money, the wherewithal to go on and upwards, but basically they've got this game to take care of first.
Again, getting to the point Dusan mentioned, the last 11 years, if you will, Barcelona have won 8 of those titles.
Right, and if you look at it over the longer term even, the 20 years for Real Madrid have won 6 Ligas in that dominance of Spanish football, where they were the European champions and the world champions, with a brand of football that was salivating around the world, looking at the quality and the class, and translated into international dominance as well.
Marcelo battling far side down to our final 10 minutes of regulation. Again, we've tended to see 5 minutes or more added on with all of these substitutions, but we haven't seen a goal. Not many injuries of note in the second half. So Español can't count on it. Maybe a quarter hour if that remains. Roca wide.
They're on a very difficult hook here. Second goal by Real Madrid will sink their battleship, but they've got to start taking calculated gambles now, the Parakeets, and getting an extra player, or maybe two, in advanced positions if they're going to get a point out of this game now. They haven't got any other option, as you see now, leaving two at the back. That's a good sign by Rufete, pushing his players in search of this equaliser. The width is there. Nicely.
To the inside, a swing and a miss as de Tomas holds on. Kos waiting for the whistle.
Nicely.
Wide for Lopez, and Vinicius with the defense, something that will make Zidane smile. And then foot on the clutch, ready to pop it into gear. Instead finds Benzema, off to the other Brazilian, and Rodrigo goes for goal, but it's blocked away by Pedrosa. By the way, one thing that might save Español is that new tiebreaker being head-to-head. They close out the season with Celta Vigo, which would appear to be the team they need to catch. If this score holds, they would be 10 points back. So you figure a win against Celta in the finale would be mandatory. And if they do get that, that would mean they would need to make up 7 more points, which is 3 more games. And while everyone else, including their fans, might be thinking about the Segunda, the players still have to be thinking about the possibilities of survival. Because if not, a lot of these players are going to have to pack their bags and move. Lopez. Casemiro. Valverde. Only as far as his counterpart Lopez.
Given all the problems that Barcelona is going through as an institution as well, Phil, it's certainly pertinent to that last question how Real Madrid is timing their re-emergence in the Liga, if you can call it that, but certainly the manner in which they're starting to do their business and have been doing it with the way they play. It seems to be a lot more replaceable parts for Real Madrid than what it is for Barcelona. So they've got that going for them. Unlucky.
Although, Ray, as you would probably be the first to point out, there's one irreplaceable part for Barcelona that's not getting any younger.
Exactly.
Ball squared by Roca. The new man on is Lozano. Keeps it swinging. Real Madrid with numbers back. Ball loose for de Tomas. Keeps it alive, but Courtois forces it wide.
Sharp play from the striker and the keeper here. He's got to get that. Kind it to perfection again. Some defending to be done now in front of Tibor.
Cabrera, the center back, coming over, spots the gap between the signage, flips it in towards the spot, bounces twice, and no blue and white shirts on the receiving end. Lopez. But Vinicius. And now
work on his touch, doesn't he? Beautiful.
See Lozano, the 26.
Look at this. Wonderful. Again, just typical Brazilian class in a glass.
Pedraza. Melamed back for Pedraza. And a throw in for Real Madrid. 5 minutes and change left to go. Rufete probably wishing he still was upstairs. Although, you know what?
I don't think
that
so.
Competitive nature is there. Remember
He's
it.
enjoying himself, Phil. And certainly, Mane's got his message across in 2 days to a team. Believe me, I know what it's like to take over a really rocky ship and get the response from the players.
Take a look the rest of the way, Ray.
To build on.
At Sociedad, and while that on paper looks tough, La Real has not been playing well.
Right.
Then Leganés, who they're competing with for survival.
Yeah.
You could say the Barcelona game, but we talked about how Celta Vigo could be a banana skin. Same story here. And then Eibar, Valencia, and Celta Vigo. So other than Barcelona, all of them winnable if they can just find a way to put the ball in the net. Nice switch by Melamed. You can see why the Roja like him.
Now they've done well defensively, Phil, to contain Real Madrid as much as they have. And as they see this game out now, Real Madrid, they know it's still right on that high ledge. Look out.
One nothing the score. 88th minute approaches. The line just outside the 18. Driven to the 6. Bounces through. And no one can get on the receiving end. I don't think Cabrera saw it in time.
Oh, the ball's just a little high for him to make any contact with. And it right behind him, Cabrera sees this one coming and should have kept on running. It's Cabrera, for me, that just eases up. You've got to attack that back post in situations like that.
Bernardo did everything he could, only to see it sail over his 6'3" frame. And as you point out, if Cabrera keeps running, he could practically walk that one in.
You got it. Oh, look out.
Lozano stripped. Looked like there was a jersey tug. Referee says no foul. Now to Ramos.
Type of performance, as the proverbial saying goes, that wins championships, Phil. It hasn't been anything else rather than just, well, industrious by Real Madrid, with the flash of French genius mixed in, but they'll take it all day long. Omar said there'd be days like this on the march to a championship. And
on the other side, talking about Cabrera's unwillingness to make the hurtful run. At this stage of the season, you don't get into the relegation zone by accident. Rodrigo. Again. Holding his line, Valverde, but the pass just behind the run. Lozano again whacks it forward, right to the boot of Di Tomas. Varane hooks him down. Well, there's something for Rufete to build on. This is looking a lot better than it did the last few weeks under Abelardo. Chance for Caleri, snuffed out by Casemiro. He's got to be appreciating this. Seeing a much better effort out of his beloved Parakeets. Benzema still battling 90th minute.
It's often said as well that Real Madrid, usually after the half-time team talk, they come out looking like a better side, and I think they have, changes included, but again, that's a compliment to Español as well for keeping this game as close as they have.
4 minutes added. Valverde. Start of the season, everyone was thinking they needed Pogba. And while Zidane, I'm sure, would love to have his compatriot, he seemed content with the Uruguayan. Vinicius heels on chalk, cross back wide. Flipped through by Marcelo. Vinicius smartly willing to pull it back. Keeping it in. Carvajal, the hurtful run, whips it into the 6, grabbed by Lopez.
And the cream on the Sunday for Real Madrid as well. Let's not forget, we stated in the last game, I think, Bill, is the amount of good young players they've got out on loan as well that are going to be coming back to the flock.
Just their fullbacks alone enough to make a manager drool.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that Ashraf is going to be one of those players, if you believe the press talk, though, which is a bit of a surprise for me.
Aldriazola, Reguilon as well. Jesus Vallejo suiting up for Granada as a center back, and of course Kubo and Odegaard. Even Andrei Lunin, the promising young Ukrainian netminder. And they've done it with youth, and that's one of the reasons that question we got on WhatsApp earlier. I mean, you could say, well, who could imagine something like that? But you look at the youth that they have stockpiled, Ray. It's very similar to what Barcelona had coming through the pipelines.
Absolutely, and you know, the team that we're not bringing into that conversation is Atletico Madrid, the neighbors of Los Blancos, and how they have rebuilt their team in an impressive way. It hasn't taken fire this year, but it certainly has in the European Cup, that's for sure. But I think that Atletico Madrid team is a team, once the young players and the new signings settle in, are going to have a big say in how it figures out for next year.
Sevilla barely holding on to a top 4 spot at the moment, but maybe they've stopped taking on water. Courtois launching it forward across midfield. Meanwhile, Español mired in the bottom, 10 points behind Celta. But if they do win the finale, they would have the tiebreak. So not dead yet.
Well, again, for all the people that were dying, waiting, aching for Vinicius and Rodrigo to make the entrance, there hasn't been too much of a great difference, because a lot of that has to do with the way this Español side has been formed and set up. It's not as easy as just calling in off the bench. That's a good ball.
Could be for Caleri, but he can't catch it. Second effort, and it's almost knocked off Marcelo and in. They won't get the chance for the corner. A last gasp effort goes wide.
Well, relief all around. This was a nasty walk down a very dark, dangerous alley, but Real Madrid get the job done, and he'll take the full 3 points, and he's not worried about who the man of the match is, but we are, and it's Casemiro, the goal scorer, the king of the match for the king of the beers. Budweiser.
Español falls at home against Real Madrid. 1-0. Real back atop the